Hey YouTubers, today I'm going to do a knife review, some of the knives I really like. A couple of these I got from the Swamp Camper because he's really into knives. So the first one I'm going to go over that I like a lot, it's a Schrade. This is a nice custom leather sheath that the Swamp Camper made, but this blade is really nice. What I like about this blade is it's really sharp. And I'm working on a project here. I'm whittling this down. It's going to be something in another video, so I don't want to go into detail. But this blade has been helping me really whittling down this water oak, which I'm going to make into something authentic, and that's for another video. So I really like this knife a lot. Basically for the whittling and wood carving skills for the most part. Another one that the Swamp Camper gave me that I wear a lot because I like the neck knife. It's a Mora. I've used this a lot. I really enjoy it a lot. And the reason why I did this video, actually, because I'm not really a big gear guy. I don't do a lot of gear type videos. But Kevin's Adventures asked me about a knife that I just happened to have had in the video. And he said it looked vintage, and I didn't really think about it, but it does have a lot of special value and to me, and I'll get to that in a minute. My favorite knife, though, that I use all the time is a Gerber. You see I have the reflective tape on it, so I don't want to lose this one. For me, it's just my favorite knife. It's really good. It's always been really good for fire starting too. When I have a fire steel, it cuts really good. It's the perfect size for me. I love this. It's my favorite. This is my go-to knife blade. I really like the Gerber a lot. So I would have to say this is my favorite in terms of using it a lot. But this knife, I showed it on one of my videos. It looks really worn and beaten, but this is my dad's. And when my dad, he turned 18 in the closing months of World War II, and as soon as he could, he signed up, wanted to fight against, well, at that time, I think Germany had already surrendered, but we were still at war with Japan. He wanted to do his duty for his country. And he ended up being stationed at Fort Lewis, which is in Washington State. And he ended up being one of the prison guards for German prisoners of war, who many of them were stationed at Fort Lewis, and many of these were German prisoners from the Africa Corps. Britain just didn't have enough prison camps, so some of them were sent to the United States. And the officers were giving more leeway than the regular prisoners. They had a little bit more privileges than the regular prisoners. And I think this is the only way I can think of how my dad got this knife. But this is actually, it's a standard issue, but you can see I have it upside down. There's a Panther on here, which is a Panzer unit knife. And it's a really nice knife. I've used it a lot. But what's weird about this is my dad used this all the time, working in the garage. He was really into automotive stuff, working on stuff, and this was just a general knife he used all the time just to cut things, and you know, whenever he needed a knife, working in the garage. And one day I happened to notice it, and I asked him about the story of it, and I said, "Dad, how could you let it get into this condition? It's a historical knife." And he said, "No, for me, it's just a knife. That's all it is. It's a functioning knife, but it's just a knife." And I think that's kind of the sentiment of my dad was luckily part of the greatest generation. You know, he wasn't going to glorify it. It was the enemy's knife. It was given to him somehow. I don't know the real story of how he got it, but he just used it for cutting stuff around the garage and things like that. He didn't make anything special about it and glorify it and things like that. But it is a really good knife. I've used it a lot. And of course it's special to me now because my dad gave it to me, and he died about a year ago, almost to the day. So it has a lot of special meaning to me. It's not one I use a lot when I'm out camping. That would be my Gerber, but it's just it holds some meanings. It has some history to it, and you know, enough said, I guess.